What is quacking, everybody? So in the wake of all of the games that will be coming out in the future, we got Donkey Kong coming out this week, updates and announcements for things like Warframe with TennoCon. I wanted to highlight a game that's very near and dear to me that has been out for almost 10 years now, and I can feel my hair turning gray. Enter the Gungeon. Came out back in 2016 and is a very nice little bullet hell roguelike that is very fun and very entertaining. Now, Enter the Gungeon is a little bit different from your typical games that it can be compared to, such as Hades and Binding of Isaac, where your gameplay is more focused around the guns that you get rather than getting items and stuff that boost your stats, because in Hades and Isaac you'll be getting items that you get luck, attack speed, damage, all those type of things. But in Gungeon you get guns. You run around and you try and find guns that can deal damage and kill things fast. And that's the beauty of Enter the Gungeon, is just the whole run is just dependent on you getting guns, and can you use the guns that you get to survive. Also, the movement is very fluid as you're running around, and there's a dodge roll mechanic to make sure you don't get hit by the bullets. So as long as you're making sure you're dodge rolling and hitting your shots, because you have to aim, you're using your mouse to aim where you're shooting, so it's just a lot of skill oriented. And that's what I like about this game, is it's a challenging game, but it is based off of your skill. How well can you play? Can you beat it without getting hit? And you get rewarded without getting hit too. If you beat the bosses without getting hit, you get an extra item. So that's a nice reward for playing very well and out of your mind. So you just get rewarded for your flat skill the entire time. And as I'm playing through the game, I never feel like the game is cheating me. I'm not like, oh man, this sucks. Oh man, that's really unfair. It always feels, oh, I could have played better. I could have done this better. It's not like some, XCOM cheese where the game's like, oh yeah, you're right in front of this enemy, 30% chance to hit. It's not like that. It's pretty fair, and it's all just about your skill. So if you're sucking at the game and you're losing and you're not able to make it past certain floors or whatever, it's on you basically. And I think that's, a very nice way to have a game be, instead of just arbitrary, challenges where it's just like, oh, the boss uses agility 100,000 times and you can't hit it. Ha ha ha. It's like, no, you got to play the game and you got to be good at the game to get where you need to get. Now, circling back to the guns, there is a lot of guns. And it's not just one of those games where Borderlands is here's guns. Here's a bunch of guns and oh, yep, you got guns, and they just shoot things. And some of them are more unique than others, and that's cool. But in this game, in Enter the Gungeon, the guns are so unique and just absolutely random that it's very comical, and I really enjoy the different guns. There's obviously, your stereotypical strong guns, and each gun on the wiki is ranked with, a different grading. But, I find it funny with, the bubble shooter, where it's the little green guy and you shoot bubbles. That's hilarious. And then there's the charm bow, which is just a bow, but you can charm the enemies. And then you literally have a gun called the pea shooter. You have a pea shooter that sucks, and you shoot at people with peas. And I think that's the comedy of the game, where it's just yeah, all these random weapons are just so unique and just above any other game, where it's just yeah, outside of how much damage the weapon does, it has unique bullets, unique mechanics to it. There's the unfinished gun where it shoots just really weirdly. You have, the stone drone that sits on your head and shoots stuff and has tracking bullets. So you got all these different guns, and these guns just make or break your runs. And there's so many of them that you're probably not going to see the same gun at all, for the most part. Probably as you're playing the game, if you first start playing the game, yeah, you're gonna see the same couple guns here and there. You're gonna be like, ooh, I like that gun. But for the most part, a lot of my runs, I rarely get the same gun, and that is the fun part about this game. You have the biggest replay value, because not only is the game dependent on your skill, it's dependent on what guns you get that can make or break your runs. It depends on the generation of the terrain that you get. There's also different bosses as well that plays into a factor. So speaking of bosses, you have insane bosses, and there's some bosses that I like fighting over other bosses because I just can't deal with them properly. They're just really hard for me to deal with. I get skill issued out of those bosses, but sometimes I would prefer this boss over the other boss, and that's the beauty of the game, where the bosses are just RNG. So one of them, when you get down to the hollow, there's the wallmonger. I prefer that boss. I like fighting that boss. The high priest and kill pillars, those ones annoy me, and I hate those bosses. So I always prefer the wall because I can deal with the wall the best. But also, these bosses are so unique. Each boss fight has different mechanics. The boss patterns are so different, and it's so refreshing and nice to just have like the most unique bosses out of any game, period. And then when you make it to the very end, you gotta fight the High Dragon, and it's just a giant dragon with a gun on its face, and that thing is hard. That thing will knock you around silly. And then if you manage to do like all the secrets and go fight the Lich, that thing is just like bullet hell on steroids. You better be ready for that, and you better have the skill to back it. And one thing I like about this game too is there's little secret levels. Like, yeah, you can play the game normally and just go through the levels or whatever, but there's secrets. There's different things where you can end up on a different level. And on the first level, if you have 2 keys, you find the fireplace, you put the water out, and then you press the button inside the fireplace once you put it out, and then boom, you're on a different floor. You're on the second floor, you're on a secret floor. And the game has different secret floors and secret bosses that you can fight as well. And there's just so much depth to this game that you can really craft how you want your run to go while still being at the mercy of RNG to a degree with, what weapons, what items you get. There's a bunch of different items as well that do wacky things too. So all of these different culminations just make this game's replayability and even just playing it super fun. This game is absolutely fun, and honestly, I prefer Enter the Gungeon over Binding of Isaac in terms of like play and how much fun I have. Like, I'm not saying Isaac's bad or that it's not fun. I think Binding of Isaac is a very fun game. It's got a lot going for it. I do enjoy playing Binding of Isaac. I just think Enter the Gungeon is just more fun with the way the game is crafted. And the two major things that bring it all together, it isn't just, the gameplay and the different mechanics and bosses. It's the art style and music. This has just a nice pixelated art style, and it looks so nice and clean. It's very, cute and adorable at times with the characters, and some of the bosses and stuff just look really sick in that pixelated art style. And then the music, oh my god, the music just gets stuck in my head every time I play this game. Running around the game, hearing the music, the fight music, the boss music, it's so good. The music is just chef's kiss of a soundtrack. Now, Enter the Gungeon is just a fantastic game all around. I really enjoy it. It is well worth the $15 on Steam that it is worth. This game is $15 and it has such amazing replay value and everything that it's just if you get it, you're getting your money's worth hand over fist 10 times over. And unfortunately, like I said, this game has been out for almost 10 years. They made a small spin-off called Exit the Gungeon back in 2020, and we haven't seen anything from Enter the Gungeon since. As far as I'm aware, I haven't seen any news or anything. So I hope in the future we maybe get something else from Dodge Roll Studios and Enter the Gungeon 2, or just another bullet hell roguelike game from them that is just well crafted, well made, and is just feels amazing, because this studio has talent and they made an amazing game. So I hope we see more from them in the future and we get some more Enter the Gungeon. But that was me glazing Enter the Gungeon for almost 10 minutes. I hope you enjoyed. If you made it this far, subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.